I forgot to save the video. I played episode 5 on stream, and I forgot to save the video. So, how do we feel about a PowerPoint presentation?
1 hour later.
So I made a PowerPoint. It took about like an hour and a half, but I will now walk you through the events of season 1, episode 5. So apparently the episodes are set up into chapters. I didn't know that until I looked up the game so I could make a good summary for y'all. Anyways, we all go to Vernon's hideout under a hospital, like in the morgue. Turns out it's abandoned. Wow. And then we hear the stranger on the radio, and he tells us Clem is fine, but like to choose our words carefully. But after that whole conversation, doesn't really matter what the fuck you say. Lee realizes she's like somewhere else in the city, and they're like, okay, we need to get out, but the door that we came in through is swarmed with zombies, so we need to find another way out. And like Lee's like, oh my god, guys, there's an elevator over there. So he finds some weird like rib splitter thing, and he opens the elevator, and then he passes the fuck out. He wakes up, and the others are like fully like on his arm with a saw. Like, we're just gonna cut it off. And Lee's like, whoa, 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 whoa. But then you have the choice: do you have Lee cut off his arm or not? Now, I had some people in my chat that were very squeamish, and were not here for the amputation, and so we did not cut off his arm. We did not. We left his arm on, and it did great. Anyways, no matter what you choose, the group ends up climbing to the roof, and we see that the building is completely surrounded by walkers, and now we gotta find a way to move on. Okay? Great. Next slide. We have twice shy. So, using Molly's strategy, we end up using this like ladder thing to get to this bell tower. And Lee uses Molly's strategy to then ring the bell tower, which then brings the horde to the bell tower, which thins out the streets, which gives the group enough time to get down to the streets and go back to the manor. And once we get back to the manor, we find that the cancer group stole the boat. Fucking cancer group stole the boat. Fuck them. That's fucking rude. And yeah. Then, of course, Kenny gets fucking angry at Ben because he's an asshole and he has to. So Ben shoots back with, well, at least you had a family to lose, because Ben never got to know what happened to his family, because the outbreak started while he was in school, and so he never got to say goodbye to his family, and that's fucking sad. And so Kenny's like, you know what, I'll stop being an asshole. I'll stop. And then the zombie herd invades the manor, and the group is pushed upstairs, and there's a beautiful stand. I did so well. I shot so many zombies, but no matter what, you get pushed into the attic. So I did good there, and it didn't matter. There ain't no way. Never mind. Kenny's an asshole again. And he's paranoid of Lee, so he starts an argument. And literally, like, I don't fucking know what to tell you. Lose your temper or stay calm. I'm pretty sure I stayed calm. I will show you the stats in a second after I go through this thing. But pretty sure I stayed calm. Anyways, the wall is shown to be weak and decaying and is leading to the house next to it. That's what you can see here. So the group takes turns hitting it with like a lamp to break it. Break it open, baby. Yeah. The group breaks through the bedroom. Breaks through to a bedroom. And there's a couple in the bed in there that committed a double unaliving. And Kenny gets all upset because he remembers Katja and how it's similar to Katja. And he's like, I don't think it's right, Lee, that she did that, but I forgive her. I'm trying to redeem him. Blah, 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 blah. Anyways, Lee ends up searching the house and finding a balcony where they can get to the next house. So, then they're all like getting on this balcony. They're about to jump. And as Ben goes to jump to the next house, the balcony breaks and he falls. And so Lee and Kenny go down from the roof to see if he's okay. Turns out he's not. He's impaled. That's what this red line is. He's impaled. uh, by the balcony railing. That really sucks, Ben. I really love Ben. I will defend Ben with my whole life. I swear to God. He is a kid. He is a kid. He is a child. And people treat him like he has to be an adult. He's a child going through the apocalypse just like Clementine. Just because he has a few years on her doesn't make him any less of a child. Anyways, I really love Ben. Fucking hate Kenny. Fuck Kenny. Anyways, Kenny insists that Lee should go and find Clem. I'm apparently turning into a walker. It's fine. Kenny's like, Lee, you go find Clem. And I think I was like, yeah, I'll go find Clem. A bunch of walkers rush in. And you hear Kenny like do some gunshots, and you hear Ben that's like, "Oh God, please!" And then he cuts off real fast. So you're like, Kenny shot Ben. But then we never see Kenny again. So Kenny's probably dead. Kenny's probably dead. Marshall's. So Lee, Krista, and Omid end up reaching the waterfront. Just across from the Marshalls. I messed up. Leave me alone. It's a handmade PowerPoint. But to get to the Marshalls, they have to climb over a large sign to get to the next rooftop, as there is a huge horde of walkers that crowd the street below. You can choose who you send first, no matter what that sign is going to break. I sent Lee first, broke when he got across. So, Krista and Omid end up on the other roof, and Lee's like, "Hey guys, if I die, which I'm probably going to do because I got bit by a walker, and I didn't cut off my arm, can you take care of Clem?" And they're like, "Of course we'll take care of Clem. Perfect baby." And yeah, so Lee ends up going down into the streets, and he fights his way through a horde. It's the coolest scene ever. So sorry I didn't save the video. He's sick. He like decapitates people. He like gets through. It's cool as hell. Anyways. In the meantime, he gets covered in walker blood and guts, and cover him. Cover him. That's not coming later. But first, what's in the bag? So I hit the wrong thing. There we go. Sorry. Lee finds a bedroom in this like hotel where the closet and the bathroom door are tied together with a rope. And he's like, "That's weird." And so he walks in and he hears Clem. But then, as he's about to go towards her, the stranger appears behind the door with a pew pew. And is like, "Don't you make a sound." And so Lee ends up like being confronted, and he has to put all of his possessions on a table. And there's like the choice of like, will you give up all your weapons or not? I think I gave up all my weapons because I was like, if I have weapons on me, he's gonna be like, "You have weapons on you," and then get angry at me and then kill me. So I'm just gonna put the weapons down to give him a little bit of trust in me, and then I will betray that trust in a minute. Anyways, you then go into this whole discussion with the stranger about how he is the owner of the station wagon in episode 2. At the end of episode 2, if you don't remember, you have the option to steal everything from a station wagon or not. And no matter what you pick, the group will steal everything from the station wagon. But you and Clem can choose not to partake. I chose not to partake. But he goes on this whole story about how his son Adam went missing on a hunting trip. And so he and his wife went to look for him, but they failed. And then when they returned to their station wagon after looking for their son and all of their supplies were gone, it basically ruined their whole lives. So his wife took his daughter and left. And then a day later, he says that he found them. And from the sheer fact that they aren't there with him, and that the fact that his wife's head is in that sweet little bowling ball bag, we can assume that they died very quickly and then turned, and he was like, yes, I shall keep my wife's head because I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy, you're crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. They left me in a room. Saving Clem. This isn't a chapter, this is a continuation of what's in the bag, but it was too long to fit on a slide, so I made an extra chapter, baby. Stranger reveals that he's been monitoring their group since episode 2 by using Clem's walkie. And he ends up confronting Lee and being like, "You'll only hurt Clementine. You're so bad for Clementine. How dare you lie to Clementine?" All of that. And as he's talking to his wife's head in the bag, Clementine ends up getting out of the bathroom, and she's real quiet. And so Lee, very like sneakily, is like, "Look over there, my weapons on the table." I want to say it's a hatchet. I could be wrong. I know there's a bottle over there. It might have been the bottle. But Lee ushers Clem to like, "Look, go grab a thing. Help me." And Clem grabs the thing, and right as the stranger is like talking to his wife's head, and he's like, "Clem wouldn't hurt a fly." She just absolutely bangs him with whatever you give her. And then Lee, very quickly like goes at him, tackles him. They do a big fight where they're both trying to get the gun. One of them gets tackled into the wardrobe. I think it's Lee. They end up like doing a headbutt, and then Lee's there like choking the stranger on the ground, and that's a moment where I needed to press buttons and I failed very badly. So the stranger ended up pushing Lee off, tackled him, and started choking him on the floor, which meant Clementine had to grab the gun and she shot him. Shot him dead, baby. Let's go, Clem. First murder. Is that her first murder? I think that's her first murder. First murder. Anyways, Lee and Clem unite. And as they're walking out, there's a walker at the door, but the walker's like, "Oh, nothing cool here." And Lee's like, "Oh my god, I'm covered in blood and guts. They can't smell me when I'm covered in blood and guts." So then he takes Walker guts and he's like, "Ah, come here, Clem." And then he rubs all these Walker guts up on Clem, and she hates it. But yeah, it's good for her. Then we get to Stay Close to Me. This I actually added some stuff from the next chapter because this one was literally only 2 lines. Clem and Lee leave the marsh house, and they begin to walk through the horde until Clem sees her dead parents. That's right, those are her dead parents. And Lee is like, "Oh no, I better calm her or comfort her or something." But then he passes out again, and little Clem, our strong little lady, ends up dragging him into a jewelry store and closes the garage gate, which locks it. So Lee wakes up. He's on the brink of death. And he's like, "Oh no, Clem, you have just trapped yourself in here with me, who's about to be a walker." So he's like, "Handcuff me to the radiator." And so she does. Then he's like, "You need to get out of here. I'm gonna turn." And so she's like, "Okay." And they see that there's a security guard in an office, like right by them, and he has keys. So Lee's like, "Okay, you gotta go in. You gotta grab the keys. It will be okay." And she's like, "Okay." She ends up grabbing the keys, but then the officer ends up being able to attack her. And so there's like a whole kerfuffle. She kicks him. I want to say there was a baseball bat at some point that she hits him with. Anyways, there's a whole thing where like with some help from Lee and then like a really conveniently placed art piece, the walker gets killed. And Clem ends up with the gun and the keys. I would like to prepare you now for the heartbreaking part of this episode. I found a gif of it. What remains? While holding the gun and in tears, Clem begs Lee not to become one of them, aka a walker. Lee gives her advice. You can tell her to keep her hair short. You can tell her to stay in groups. You can tell her to go alone, or you can tell her to find Omid and Krista. I believe I said go find Omid and Krista. And Clem promises to remember. If I didn't say Omid and Krista, there's a dog coming. It was to keep her hair short. Hi, Aspen. They end up saying their goodbyes, and then Lee's like, you have the choice for Lee to either be like, "You have to shoot me, Clem," or you can tell Clem just to leave and become a walker. I have no memory of telling Clem to shoot Lee, but apparently I told Clem to shoot Lee. So, this little gif here is exactly what happens in the game, but with audible sounds of her crying, audible sounds of me holding back my tears, and Lee just like basically being like, "Oh god, here comes death." Yeah. And I wish I could replicate the sadness of this moment, but I can't because I forgot to save the video. I hate me too. It's okay. Anyways, we have an epilogue. So at the end of the credits, we see a tearful Clem that's like walking in the rural hills near Savannah. This is just like concept art or fan art, but it showed both of the things that I wanted to show, so I picked it. She ends up sitting to rest by this abandoned car while she's inspecting some shotgun shells on the ground, which is a very fun part because it's very reminiscent to the beginning of episode 1, where Lee finds shotgun shells on the ground and then he has to shoot the shotgun to kill a police officer that he was riding in his car and blah 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 blah. It's a very nice full circle moment. Anyways, she's looking at this, and then when she looks up, she observes these like silhouetted figures in the distance, and there's 2 of them. And she looks at them for a while, and eventually you can see that the figures stop and look at her. And then you see Clem's face, and she looks like really scared, really surprised, really unsure. And it kind of leaves you with this idea of like, oh God, who are those people? I want it to be Omid and Krista, but is it Omid and Krista? I'm very worried about Clem. I hope it's good people. Oh God, oh God, oh God. And then the screen turns black, and that's the end of the season, baby. That's the end of the season, baby. So let's go to the game here now. I can't see. I have a problem. Fuck. Give me a second. I gotta move things around. No, not my. I moved my webcam and I didn't mean to. It's fine. I'm gonna like shrink my. Oh God, nope. I need like the whole webcam group. Okay, can I just like shrink this a little? Okay, because I'm not important right now. Yeah. So desperation. Did you remove Lee's arm? You and 32% of players didn't remove your arm. So in the minority. Fallout, lost temper. I lost my temper. Sick. I think I threw a rock at him. I think that's what happens when you lose your temper. I don't know. I hate Kenny. Fuck Kenny. Give up your weapons. You and 30% of players surrendered your weapons. I'm in the minority for this, okay? Listen. Killed Clementine's captor. You and 10% of players didn't kill a stranger. Listen, I did terribly on that hitting buttons section, the QTE section, except it's not QTE. It's just Q and E. Anyways, goodbye. Stop Lee from turning. You and 95% of players made sure Lee didn't turn. So, I mean, like, I'm in the majority of people who ends up making Clementine shoot Lee. But, you know, it's fine. Right? Anyways, yeah. That's, is this the right one? Yes. That's the finale of season 1. I'm so sorry I forgot to save the video. I'm desperately sorry. So after this, I will post season 2, episode 1 in the next few days, and then we end up going back to 400 days because I didn't realize it was at the back end of this. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed this smaller summarized version, even if you couldn't watch any of it. Our main takeaways: love Ben, so sad he had to die. Fuck Kenny, and Clem is the sweetest angel to ever walk the earth. Thank you so much. I hope you had a great season 1 of Telltale's The Walking Dead. I will see you in season 2. Bye bye.